Today, let's explore a surprising truth about work-life balance worldwide. Imagine this: a country famous for gorgeous beaches and a relaxed vibe is struggling with too long work hours and lack of leisure. Today we discover this country and a few others where work-life balance is simply bad. This can be useful for you if one day you receive a job offer from these places. But first, let's get a grip on how we measure work-life balance. The OECD, or the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, is a coalition of 38 mostly Western countries, and it's a powerhouse of economic and social statistics. Here is how the OECD measure work-life balance. They use two primary indicators. First, the time devoted to leisure and personal care, which encompasses activities like sleeping, eating, socializing, hobbies, and exercising. Second, they consider the percentage of employees working very long hours, specifically those clocking in 50 hours or more per week. Remember that, 50 hours. Both indicators together reveal a very precise figure of work-life balance and long work hours across different cultures and countries. Now that you know how it's calculated, let's jump to the 7 countries with the worst work-life balance according to the OECD. In a future video, we'll talk about the best ones, but today, only the worst. And in the 7th place is Australia. Picture this: Aussies, renowned for their love of the outdoors and sun-soaked lifestyle, are actually toiling away with only 14.4 hours a day dedicated to leisure and personal care, below the OECD average, which is almost 16. A whopping 12.5% of employees work excessively long hours, so 1 in every 8 people work more than 50 hours per week. But here's the weird part: they're not even using their vacation days. With an average of 16 unused holiday days per year, it's no wonder burnout is rampant. Imagine the irony of living a vacation paradise but being too busy to enjoy it. In 6th place, Israel. Moving to the Middle East, Israel tells a similar tale. Israelis have slightly less leisure time than Australians, with 14.3 hours a day. Even more concerning, 14.1% are clocking long hours at work. A survey paints a grim picture. The majority of Israeli workers are dissatisfied with their work-life balance. Many feel compelled to work even when they are sick, and there is a lack of flexibility to remote work. It's a stressful scenario that raises questions about employee well-being in such a dynamic and innovative nation. In 5th place, South Korea, which is not a surprise. And let's head to Asia, because in South Korea, the country presents an even more intense scenario. Here, the average leisure time is 14.8 hours, but an astounding 19.7% of the workforce is engaged in very long hours, more than 50 hours per week, 1 in every 5 people. But it's just not about the hours at the office. The culture of after-work socializing and long commutes eats into personal time significantly. This imbalance has even been linked to the country's declining fertility rate. In 4th place, South Africa. And in South Africa, the story shifts slightly, and the reasons are completely different. Because with 14.2 hours for personal care and leisure, the problem in South Africa is exacerbated by low workforce productivity. This inefficiency forces employees to work longer to achieve the same results, and contributing factors include a lack of skills, high business costs, and limited competition in many sectors. The educational system has a very bad quality compared to other nations, and this adds to the challenge, creating a workforce that is not as skilled as it could be. This is a critical issue for a country with such rich cultural and natural resources. In 3rd place, Japan. And the surprise here is that Japan is in 3rd, meaning that there are 2 countries that are even worse in terms of work-leisure balance. Japan is almost synonymous with the term karoshi, or death, from overwork. Citizens have only 14.1 hours for leisure and personal care, and a significant 15.7% of its workforce endure very long hours. But in the last few years, the country has been pushing for better work-life balance. One of Shinzo Abe, the late Prime Minister's main concerns was Japan's overworking trend. The Work Style Reform Bill was signed into law by his government and tried to reduce this problem. The bill was a key part of his plan to make Japan's work and life balance more equilibrated. Initiatives include putting limits on how long people can work and giving them more flexibility, as well as requiring people with at least 10 days of unused leave to choose at least 5 days off. In second place comes Turkey. In Turkey, the daily leisure time is a bit better, at 14.6 hours, but a staggering 25% of employees work long hours, more than 50 hours per week. The country's long work weeks and notorious traffic jams, especially in cities like Istanbul, create a challenging environment for achieving a healthy work-life balance. This imbalance raised concerns about its impact on sectors like healthcare, especially given Turkey's preeminence in medical tourism. Now, ready for the first place? Before we review its name, I would like to ask a small favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And in first place comes Mexico. The worst country in this ranking has a whopping, ready for it, 27% of all employees working very long hours and only 13.5 hours per day on average for all things non-work related. Mexico has some of the longest average annual work hours of work in the world, 2,137 hours per year, and its average lunch breaks are also some of the shortest, at only 30 minutes. Put that together with the endemic violence on the Mexican streets, and it's a recipe for a stressful day. Ironically, Mexico is also one of the best countries in Latin America for those willing to retire abroad. Check our video about that. Somehow, the South Park music, that one sung by Butters, about Mexicans working all week long, sounds a bit of true. And in each of these countries, the struggle for balance reveals unique cultural, economic, and social dynamics. Now, if differently of the residents of these countries, you have some time to dedicate to yourself, check our video about the best place to visit in Europe in January, March, April, May, and June. We skipped February because I have no idea which country is nice to visit in February, unfortunately. Check the video here on your left.